Hello, this is Solomon Davis, Right Side Trader. Today is June 26, 2023, and this is my weekly market review. I'm running a little late this week. I was on vacation last weekend, this past weekend, but I'm back and I decided go ahead and put it on out there for you guys, those who are interested and all. So let me just jump right on into it. I'm actually, this is all for educational purposes only, no trade recommendations here, even though I may talk about trade and trading strategies. Please, please, please do your own research and your own analysis of what you actually see and base it on your trading plan. I'm just kind of showing you what I see out here on this market and what's happening. Again, check with your financial advisor, check with your significant other, and make sure trading is even something that is actually suitable for you. All right, let's just jump on in here. I'm going to be looking at the Nasdaq 100 on a quarterly chart, monthly chart, and a daily chart. I believe I'm going to go ahead and start off with the quarterly chart. Let me switch over to that right now. I'm looking at a monthly chart. I was kind of looking at this stuff myself right quick, and I should have had this set, but let's just jump right over to it. Okay, on the quarterly picture, what I see is that we have gotten a confirmation on the quarterly picture, long picture, and what somebody kind of commented about what am I looking at on the quarterly chart. What I'm looking at really on the quarterly chart, I'm seeing the stars aligning on my point where I think supply is going to be kicking in, which was this level right here, and we also have a yearly pivot. We had a yearly resistance of 1. We actually did go above it, but we came back down below it. That's one of the scary things, playing with pivots and all. You kind of, you base trades around these things and all, and it's still all, you got to kind of like get where you get kind of used to actually trading with these things and what kind of time you need to give yourself on when you're actually trading with these things, and knowing when to take profit on these types when you're using trades around pivots. And what I'm really, like I said, what I'm really looking at is a yearly resistance 1. So I'm looking at this market maybe having a tough time when it gets to one of these pivots and see what's actually going to happen. Back here, on the pivot, I was kind of expecting to stay on the pivot, but once it broke pivot and it was at another one of my points where I thought we might have some resistance, but once you start seeing it going higher, you kind of expect it to go to that next pivot level. So that's what I'm looking at on these bigger pictures and all. And based around that, based on your trading plans, your trading strategies, you can base trades around that stuff, so that's what I'm looking at. So right now, that's it on the quarterly picture. I do see the market actually trying to go higher, although we can see easily that it's at a resistance point. It's at a point of supply, so it's going to have a hard time getting across here and actually making those higher highs. It actually has to get on this quarterly picture, start getting where we get a close maybe by the end of the quarter, above this level, and see what actually happened. If we start turning red, we can start looking for a little pullback and a pullback down to the next pivot level. That's what I just kind of like see on the big picture, So that's what I'm looking at when I'm looking at this type of stuff. But let's go ahead and go down to the monthly chart and see what we see there. I realized one thing that I forgot to put on these charts. I had to set up everything again too, because I had to restore my computer. It was giving me problems. So I lost all my stores and my settings, and I don't have the moving averages on here. I just realized what I want to add on this one right quick is the 10 and the 50 is what I like having on this chart. Where's my 2 moving averages, 2 line moving averages, and let me modify this. And as you can see, I default whatever's there. And really, I want the 10, not 9. Everybody likes looking at the 10 and the 50, and the 50 is what I like. Apply, equal. The 10 is usually what most people say. If you're above the 10, you're bullish. If you're below the 10, you're bearish. So being on the monthly chart. So on this monthly chart right here, we are above the 10. And we've been above the 10. Like I said, the Nasdaq is my bull, but I was kind of expecting it to slow down once it got here. And I saw people was actually, putting put strategy on, short type strategies on for the market to go down. The problem I see always trying to do that with options is time. You got and timing. Where do you put that thing on? Do you put it on as soon as it hits the level that you think the market is going to go down? Do you give it a little wiggle room and then you put it on? That's the whole problem It's not a problem. That's the whole thing with those type of strategies. It's just timing those things just right, and that's where it gets, it's something that you have to study and see what is the best time, how much time should you give it, and what's the best point to do those type of trades. But right here, what I'm seeing here is that we are still kind of bullish. We are at a point where we expect the market to slow down and see if we can actually get a close above this area here, and then maybe we can go and start attacking this area and start trying to get to making all-time highs. So that's what I see here. Let's go ahead and go down to the weekly chart and see what we see there. Low style. It's a little different. Weekly. It's this one that I want to look at. And on the weekly chart, we can see this is the beginning of this week. Last week I wouldn't have saw that. We would have saw a bearish pattern on the weekly. Let me just zoom in a little bit here where you can see what I'm talking about. This candle pattern right here, it's near the top of this previous week candle, but that's still a bearish candle. This is what's called a bearish harami. You got this candle right here almost engulfing. This is an inside candle to me of this candle body. Definitely this body is inside that body, even though it's near the top. When we saw this probably last week, we could have been looking here on Monday, will this thing actually push back up above this resistance level? These are monthly pivots, but since ended up going down today, now is it going to break this level right here, come down to this level somewhere here before we actually go back up? In my opinion, I don't see us, we're getting near the end of the month. I don't see us coming all the way back down to pivot, but I can see maybe next month, if we do end up coming down here, we're going to end up below pivot. And again, below pivot, will it end up staying below pivot and actually end up going lower and coming down and testing some of these areas back down here, maybe below 330. Don't know. We had 360, 357. That's only 20 points away. And Qs can move anywhere from 5 to 10 points a day easily. So this is not out of the question if the market does end up coming back down to those levels and then reversing and going back up. Nothing goes straight back up. But the Nasdaq hasn't been pulling back that far when it does do these type of pullbacks. So more realistic, it might come down to about 350 before it goes back up, if we're going to stay in this bullish pattern that we're actually in. So right now, let me go ahead and take a look at the daily chart and go ahead and wrap this up and see what we see there. Load. And I go to my daily. Boom. And on the daily chart, last week, I would have saw, a bullish. Let me zoom in here right quick. First of all, the stochastic is kind of slowly drifting down. We would have saw a bullish looking pattern. Then we ended up with an inside day, a green inside day, but we had got below pivot, and we did end up staying below pivot for that week, and we did stay above, this level that I'm saying is a supply level, expecting, a bounce. We got a little bounce on Friday, now, and a doji, a kind of indecision in the market, and then today, it made a decision and decided it wanted to go down. So that's why I'm saying right now we can come down here. 350 is not out of the question, but 350, as you can see this week, these are weekly pivots on here. That's a support 3 level. A support 3 level, I would be expecting a bounce. No trade recommendation there. Again, but a lot of times when the market does come down to a support 3 level, it does give you a pretty good bounce the first time. So that's what I'm looking at, and that's what I see on the Qs. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this on up. Hope this is being helpful. What I see here. And again, hope you guys had a great week last week and had a great weekend. And I'll talk to you next week. Have a good one. Bye.